Retrograde Amnesia is a member of the Greenlit Podcast Network, a coalition of creator-owned podcasts focused on video gaming, entertainment, and pop culture. Go to greenlitpodcast.com to find out about all the great shows on the network. Hey, Eric.
Hey, Chris, what's up?
Hey, did you know that we have a Patreon page at patreon.com/retroam?
Yes, I visited it. Nice page.
You can go there. Did you log in?
Well, see, the thing is, I'm not a patron of this podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Fucking freeloader.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear some hot sounds that I've recorded?
Yes.
Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast about Xenogears. Tonight, we sally forth toward the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last. The Ides of March are upon us, except it's probably September by now. This is the final chapter of Xenogears. My name is Chris. I'm joined tonight by Eric. Hey, Eric.
Not the final chapter of our podcast.
No, it's not. If you've been around, which if you're listening to this episode, you've been around for a while, you know we tend to talk. So this will not be one of those episodes where one chapter is one podcast. Also, we are joined tonight by The RealNet. The RealNet is a collective of patrons who listen to us record live via Discord. They are good-looking and knowledgeable. You can join The RealNet at patreon.com/retroam. It's a nice community of people.
Starting in our next series, and also now, I'd like to introduce the Fake Net.
Initializing Fake Net.
Hello, I want to be a human being.
Our AI companion to correct our mistakes.
Oh, you mean the AI is going to get her own introductory sequence?
I mean, people now, it has grown organically with the podcast. But
Yeah.
next time, if you're just jumping in, it's like you have to learn the inside joke right away.
Oh, you mean
right?
starting with season 2,
Yeah,
right?
like if someone listens to whatever else we record next, probably Xenosaga, then they're going to need to know, like, about this voice that interrupts after an indecipherable sound clip.
Yes, and if we're not doing Xenosaga next, then the Fake Net's going to come in and correct us.
Initializing Fake Net.
There is no fate but what we make for ourselves.
Yeah,
Right now.
Sure, right.
We'll see. So, this last chapter is called First and Last. It's not the first chapter, it's the last chapter.
It is the last time you're going to guess the chapters.
Yes.
Do you want to?
I've been thinking hard about what kind of replacement games we can play for the next game. But
Yeah, well, most of our ideas come organically
Yes.
based on just crap that happens. So I assume we'll think of something slightly less creative next time.
yes, I should take my own advice and don't think.
Yeah. Speaking of not thinking, I also maybe next time we do a Perfect Works quiz, patreon.com, I want to quiz you on the titles we missed from the beginning of this game.
Yeah, good idea.
So this time it is called First and Last. Chris, is it actually called The Beginning and the End? The one that is the first and the last? Or starting a new beginning and finishing a new ending?
I'm going to go with the one in the middle, the one that is the first and the last.
That is correct, Chris.
Oh, wow, great.
Ding, ding. Good job.
Okay, good.
You did it.
I tried to, I made sure that I skipped over that section in the study guide when I was checking for translation notes on the ending, and I didn't check it. I didn't cheat.
Chris cheated.
I swear, I didn't cheat.
So we can play this video game now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got to fight bosses, and we've got some traversal in the anima dungeons, but now we can actually do all the things that we miss doing, like talking to NPCs and exploring our ship.
But it's unclear as to where we are when we start, but some music gives it away. What do we hear?
Oh, it's Shevat, the wind is calling, because we are in Shevat, but the wind is not calling because we're in the fucking ground.
Gosh, I love the orchestral album Myth. How about we listen to Shevat, The Wind is Calling from Myth?
Oh, thanks. So we're in the Snowfield hideout.
But we don't know that. Like you're in a room that looks like Shevat, and you don't know that it has crashed really until you accidentally step on one of those doors and get outside.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But what's the first tip that things are not right here?
There's all kinds of people in the...
No, even before you leave your bedroom. There's a fucking cow.
Oh, yeah, there's a cow in the tunnel right before you leave.
There's like 5 beds, a cow, and a save point. And that's the first tip that space here comes at a premium. Like, there's not a lot of space.
You've got your own room, savior of mankind.
Yes, we need them. We have high ether abilities.
I think it's funny that on the beds, your options are rest, ! And don't.
Oh, I didn't understand that.
Rest and don't. Those are your 2 choices.
Don't.
It's very 90s. Rest or just don't, man.
Just don't. You don't have to.
So you walk out of that tunnel, then you get into the big central room, and that is when it should become clear that you are in Shevat.
Yes.
And what is unique about the center of this room?
I don't know. I don't remember, Eric.
There is a fixture in the center that has a pair of flags. It is the Ave symbol flag and the Kislev symbol flag on equal sides. And then I think the Nissan crest, which is kind of stylized, is in the very middle. Signifying they've all unified under Shevat.
There is a soldier standing just outside of, or just beside that structure that comments about how all the feuding countries have finally all come together.
Yes, but it's too late.
It's too late. He says, how could we possibly stand up to God's army? The situation's really hopeless. Which, I agree with.
I mean, he also speaks to my life when he says, that's always the case. By the time we notice anything, it's always too late.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty real, right?
Yeah, it is. Dude. There's an item vendor here, too.
There's a lot of things here. A lot of people have some stuff to say.
I bought a Thor's Thunder.
I bought that, too. That's a new whip for Bart, right?
For Bart. I never used it.
No, of course not. Ever. But it was like, it was a new Bart whip. So early in this podcast, we tried to catalog all of the Bart whips to make sure that they were like snake puns or something. But
Thor's Thunder is his name for his...
Yeah, so there's a lady in the corner that states that this base where we're at is a last refuge for humans. And then she tells us this is a fallen part of Shevat. We're low on supplies, and we need to take out Deus soon because people can't survive like this. So when she tells us this, and then you leave and see the crashed flying saucer, do you remember how you reacted to this when you were a kid?
I was
a young adult.
I remember being very excited about getting control of my party back because I was very stressed out that I wasn't able to go like level up death blows and stuff like that.
Right.
But the reaction is, even now, the reaction is like, I don't remember this thing getting shot down.
It wasn't in a JPEG on a chair talk.
Yeah.
It's like, did we skip this?
I think
this seems like pretty pivotal that this would have, I mean, I know the whole world blew up and shit. We didn't see plagues take out Ave and Kislev necessarily, but...
Yeah, I mean, Babel Tower's still standing.
Yeah, Babel Tower's still there. That thing made it. It just seems weird that Shevat, like, it seems like a catastrophic thing this game should have referenced at some point.
I wonder if this whole Snowfield hideout was supposed to be sort of our base of operations throughout the whole second half of the game.
That's a good guess.
And perhaps there was a sequence in which Shevat was supposed to be shot down, or maybe it was shot down at the same time that
the EMP man,
that Solaris went down.
Yeah.
When all that kind of stuff happened, and maybe this was supposed to be our base of operations. But
well, at least halfway through, Ellie went back to Shevat and with the Proud Boys at some point, right?
Yeah, that's true. There was never any indication on whether or not it was here. I guess it wasn't, because there's no throne room here. Because I think we saw some things of that ilk. There's like the guy from the. Do you remember what the name of the bar was in Shevat? The blue.
Oh, no. The one where all the lights were turned out?
Yeah. That guy's
remember.
here.
It was like Blue something?
It's like Blue Brothers or something like that. I forgot to look it up.
Maybe the fake net will figure it out.
Thank you.
Initializing fake net.
That bar was called Deep Sea Bros.
Did you talk to him here in Shevat, or here in the Snowfield hideout?
Yeah. He had a serving tray and he noted the chirping picotiles. Is that this person?
Yeah, the picotiles. I pronounced it in my head picotiles.
Picotiles.
Because I guess I was thinking about Picross. I don't know. He says the picotiles are so cute and they're going cheap. Get it?
Yeah, cheap.
They're going cheap.
Bird.
And then if he asked if you're interested in buying them, did you buy them?
You don't have a choice.
I think you have a choice.
As far as I know, like, he just keeps progressing through the dialogue, and then he asks for 20,000 G. Like, my note here is it forces you to buy. I could be wrong, but I remember not having an option here, or I got too far before I
think you're given one dialogue option, but you only get, that's the point of no return.
Okay.
So
I mean,
Yeah.
20,000 is not that much at this point.
Yeah, but still, you're about to spend a lot of money on gear parts and stuff like that. It's weird, and there's no payoff for that too. I
Yeah.
wonder if that was supposed to be the initiator of a side quest that would ultimately pay you, 60,000 G or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that would have been the modern way to design that quest, but apparently we just got shafted.
Initializing fake net.
Chris was tragically unaware that when the birds moved, it revealed an elevator to a secret Chu-Chu room. Sit tight, this is addressed later in this episode.
This is worse than Big Joe.
Yeah, you definitely get taken for a ride here. He tells us, although, that these picto tiles, he tells us they're delicious if you grill them, but then they fly away and reveal a mover. And it's like, we definitely just got grifted because as soon as they fly away, he's like, I know nothing. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And he just kind of takes off, right?
Yeah, he locks his account,
Yeah.
and then you never hear from him again, basically.
But did you go up to this place immediately, or do you want to finish going through this big room?
Yeah, let's finish going through the big room here.
Okay.
There's an old man standing near the fire using something for fuel here. And
Yes.
he's talking about how he's burning his books and his autograph collection for warmth, which is another hint here that resources are quite low. The issue in Shevat used to be that they could not get down to the surface to get resources and supplies to keep their people fed and to keep their militia upheld.
And now they have all the supplies they want.
Now they're on Earth and they can get nothing because there's been a nuclear winter and the entire Earth has been terraformed and the entire economy has collapsed. So it's not great.
But again, if the world is going to shit, you want to burn your first edition books and rare autograph collections. I remember that part of Children of Men where Clive Owen's friend has a statue of David.
Yeah.
Just that amazing. He's like, what's the point in preserving all this shit if no one's going to see it,
Yeah.
right?
You kill me. 100 years from now, there won't be one sad fuck to look at any of this. What keeps you going?
You know what it is, Theo? I just don't think about it.
You just want to go ahead and use that shit for resources.
Yeah, good call.
Did you talk to the guy next to the guy burning books?
That's the person that says that this is just like it was 500 years ago, right?
I've got him saying, burn this whole world. My whole family, everything has been destroyed by them. Who cares anymore? Burn it all up. Ha ha ha.
Oh, yeah, I do have that one.
He's very into the whole burning my book collection.
Yeah. Somebody, one of the two people here talks about how this was just like 500 years ago, and it kind of is.
An Ave soldier mentions that, and it kind of is, but I think humanity is even more fucked this time.
Yeah, last time there was still like infrastructure and economies that were able to be rebuilt. Like, remember that at the post the days of collapse, Ronnie Fatima was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to make a country. And I don't think we have anybody with that level of charisma right now.
Was that post days of collapse or post Shevat Solaris War?
I think it was post. I think you're right. It was post Solaris War.
Yeah, it was in between them.
Yeah, you're right. But they did fight in the days of collapse.
Yes.
But
I think one of them died.
Perhaps, probably.
Yeah.
Fake net, please save us.
Initializing fake net.
Rene was killed while protecting his brother from the Diabola's core that Lacan unleashed. Roni survived into his 40s.
So another Ave soldier next to the bar says he can sell us basic battle items and medicine. So there's your indirect shop.
Yeah.
And then there's a gear shop too.
Yeah, the gear shop is kind of neat because the guy turns around and he's like, hold on, I've got to get my shit. And then there's a automated sort of
it's a big machine that
comes in, yeah.
A big press. It was funny. I got into the gear shop and I was taken aback because the first gear it hits you with is Xenogears. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh shit, right, I got that. Because it's big and imposing on the screen.
Yeah, I've got that thing now.
That thing's mine. Multiple people around here are implying the world is getting colder. I don't know if that's necessarily true or if they're just in the Snowfield hideout.
Yeah, it's like we used to live in the desert.
Pole.
And some of these people literally used to live in the desert, so they're probably not quite used to it.
Yeah. So I think that goes all for the NPCs. You want to start working on these doors?
Yeah, let's go through these rooms.
I think the easiest one is man digging room.
Yeah, he asked you for a gold nugget.
Yes, and he asks you for a gold nugget, and then like you wait a bunch of time, then you come back and he asks you for gold bullion, I think.
Oh, really?
Yes, and he says, oh, well, this is harder than I thought. Then you wait and you come back, and you know what he's dug up?
What's that?
A jukebox.
Oh, cool. Maybe you have to have a gold bullion in your inventory in order to trigger that, because I was just told that he can't do it. Like, he's like, I don't know shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I remember the last time the jukebox that was in that guy's bar only had like 5 song titles. This time there's about 10 of them. So we've got Prayers of Wind and Fire.
Cool.
Shards Calling One Another.
Is that Lost Broken Shards?
I think so.
Okay.
Tears of Stars and Memories.
Okay. Tears of the Stars, Hearts of the People.
I think so. An Ancient Dance.
That would be the Dazzle song, right?
Ave the Ancient Dance.
Ave the Ancient Dance, yeah.
A Nest of Dreams.
Okay.
Shattering Egg of Dreams.
Shattering
Nest,
Egg of...
Egg, maybe.
Yeah.
The Sky, the Clouds, and You. Accurate. September Mermaid. The brave seek dreams. The wounded we follow to the light. Our village is number 1. Lost screeching shards. A distant promise in the Valley of the Wind.
Cool.
100G a pop, sir.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought we had those discs on us.
You have the M disc for the Big Joe jukebox.
Oh, yeah, we won't see that until later.
Right.
Interesting. When you play these tracks, do they play while you're still walking around or just in that room?
Just in that room, I think.
Oh, that'd be
That
cool if you
sucks.
could change the soundtrack of the hideout.
Spoilers for later on at the battle arena, those will play throughout your battles if you play them there.
Did not know that. That's pretty cool. So,
Where'd you go next?
I have the Room of Cats. I figured that you would like the Room of Cats because you like cats.
Yes,
but
I'm a cat person. I own 2 of those things.
There is a lot of chatter here about how difficult it was to relocate because they had to manage all the cats.
Yeah.
And there seems to be some familiarity with these people. Like,
Do you know where you saw them last?
I think it was in Bledovik.
Yes,
Okay.
they were in the room above the gear shop. The first time you went there, it was just a lady and a bunch of cats. The second time, the guy had come home from the war, and he's like, I don't know what to do with all these fucking cats. And here, the husband is still alive, and he's annoyed, and he says this isn't as bad as military camp.
Yeah.
So, he's finding the bright side on life down here.
Yeah.
Doesn't the cat room give way to another room? Like it's like a tube that leads to the, I labeled it as command room.
Yeah, I call it the battleship-looking room.
Yeah.
And the first thing that happens in there is a brief sort of cutscene triggers where the kids are getting on the nerves of the fancy commanders.
Yeah, the fancy commanders commanding nothing.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Like,
There's like a Deus hologram PowerPoint in front of them.
yeah, they're kind of like trying to manage the situation, but like, they can't do shit.
At some point, one of them asks for either his sister or a sister to deal with the annoying kids.
Oh, yeah.
And she asks if he wants them out in the cold, and he says they're having an important meeting. But then the sister owns him.
Yeah, she says the children are the future, right?
Yeah. He's like, I know you're upset and you're planning shit, but she points to us, like Faye and crew, and says, you know those people are the only ones that can actually change fate, right? What you're doing here isn't going to do shit.
Yes.
It is a marvelous own.
Yeah, it is great. It's really terrific.
I think it's also implied this room is hotter than the rest because of all of the machinery, which is why the kids are here.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
That's
machinery,
true.
but like computers and data mainframes and all that stuff.
Yeah, somebody mentions about them getting cold out there. I think there's not much else to glean from this room. I think the main takeaway is that there are a lot of differently sprited soldiers sitting next to each other.
It's
and
a gross assemblage.
Yeah, where we're supposed to kind of see how the world has come together now that the world has ended.
I've got one guy saying the kids are annoying a computer, and then do you have the dialogue from the kids that are running around?
I don't.
One of them stole the other one's candy, and the other one is pretending to be the Yggdrasil X.
Oh, cool.
So the 10th iteration.
I want to be that. That one can transform twice.
And then some more men, yeah, right, just transform. It's a triple changer. Some other men are talking about how ineffective all of their weaponry is against Deus, and it really shows how poorly equipped these surface powers are for the battle this time around.
Yeah.
Like, there's no magical gears they can dig up to save them.
That's right. So once you go back outside, there's a guy at the bar, and you could talk to him, and he says, it's not like we're just born to die. What's going to happen to us now? To this world. We can't carry on without at least drinking. It's scary and lonely. Which
Those
is
are
another-
words of a bartender,
Yeah,
right?
it's another-
Comforting and realistic.
Remember, like, way back in Bledovik, the guy was like,
You got this. Come on, do it.
I got it right for so many times in
You
a
got
row.
it right like 5 minutes ago.
I know. Bledovik. There was a guy that was like, I love drinking outside.
Mhm.
There's a lot of great comments about like when it is appropriate to drink and how you should be in your feelings when you're drinking. And this guy maybe has the best line. Behind the bar, which
The first time I played this game, I don't think I went back here.
I think I have vague memories of this, but
You have to jump the bar, and
Yeah.
from like 2 or 3 angles, it's just not possible.
Yeah. I think it's terrific because you're rewarded for jumping over the bar and going into the wine cellar, like going places that you're not supposed to. You're rewarded with some of the better optional scenes in the in this section of the game. In fact, some of the only optional scenes in this game. You go down, and as soon as you go down, you're going down the cellar, and there's like a drunk guy.
Dude, it
Passed
isn't
out.
a drunk guy. It is the screw elevator guy.
Okay, that was my next question.
Yes.
Is it the screw elevator guy?
Well, who else would say everyone's gonna die? Booze, bring the booze. I just picture my dude ordering a drink at the bar and then like laying on the bar and then rolling over the bar and then getting like, you know how men, like grown men do
Yeah.
that body roll at some point for locomotion.
Oh, he's got a wad middle.
There's a blue-haired Kislev battler who I've never seen one with blue hair before.
Oh, really? Okay.
Who asks us to turn the heat up, and then a block guard, a D block guard is there, and he says a world without prisoners is boring, but like The whole world is a prison now, man.
Oh yeah, that's the guy that's walking around with like a giant like security guard club.
Yeah,
and he's all imposing and lanky looking.
He's the Billy Club guy who was walking back and forth, preventing you from leaving. And then there's one more. Did you talk to the doctor first?
No,
it's the Tim's doctor.
Is it?
Yes, and he notes that there's plenty of good men are dead now, and he questions his ability as a doctor if he can't save people who are dying right in front of him. Then he wonders why an old man like him should survive this. My question is, does anyone else in this place express survivor's remorse? Because he does.
He does, and he was a fucking asshole before, too.
He was a jerk, and he's kind of like coming to terms with that.
Yeah.
This is round 2 of Tim's doctor character development.
Maybe this is actually round 3, and the unseen round 2 was when he was on the ship sewing up people during the Wells attack or whatever, you know? But yeah, he was an asshole. When you went in his room at the Thames, he's like, do you need to rest? And if you're like, yeah, then you get to rest, and he's like, don't ever come back here again.
Don't waste my fucking time.
Yeah, don't waste my time here.
Being the only sober person on the Thames has to be a rough job anyway, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, like you said, a dolphin kid named Lance runs by and says, "You're not my dad."
Yeah. And we've met Lance before. Like,
yes.
I think that you missed this when we originally played. If you go around the corner in the doctor's office on the Thames, there is a pink dolphin named Anna, a small blue dolphin named Lance, and another small dolphin, I can't remember which color she is, named Kana.
Kana, yeah.
And those folks are here in the Snowfield hideout. But
somebody else is with them.
Lance is pissed, and it's our good friend Hans.
Yes. They are staying in species. I support interspecies relationships. However, it's nice they kept it in-house, I guess, for continuity's sake.
I guess. I mean, because nobody wants to draw a penguin person or a penguin dog.
I severally disagree with that. A lot of people want to draw that shit.
You're right. If you would like to draw that and send it in, you can find us on Twitter, retroamnesiapod.com. So, Hans gives us the backstory about the Thames, at least what he thinks happened. That the Thames has been sunk. Everyone's dead, apparently.
He said after angels attacked, which I haven't seen angels used up until now. People have said seraphs and stuff like that, which is basically angel, but he straight up said angel. Yeah,
maybe that was a weird translation thing where there wasn't a continuity between seraph and angel.
He noted that Thames withstood the Reapers, but hardly anyone got out in time for the angel attack.
Did you have Bart with you?
Of course.
Okay, good. I had Bart with me as well, and he's very, very concerned about the captain.
Yes.
I was hoping maybe you didn't have Bart with you because I wondered if somebody else would have interjected some dialogue here from our party, but Bart is the most appropriate person to be concerned about the captain of the Thames because, you know, I don't think Bart really knew his father before he died, so I think he thinks of the walrus as his...
the only man who's older than him who he respects.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Who's not Sigurd.
Yes.
But then Hans tells Bart that the captain said he'd watched the end of the Thames with his own eyes. And then that reminded me, when I was a kid, people always talk about, all kinds of quicksand was in cartoons, and I was fearful of that my entire life, and it's never a thing. Like, I feel like in that same category was shows where the captain goes down with the ship.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was just a thing I knew when I was a kid, that the captain always goes down with the ship.
Yeah, like a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yes, like a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yeah.
The captain is forced into suicide for some reason. I don't understand why.
For grand effect, probably, knowing the captain.
Bart immediately is like, oh man, he died. But then Hans corrects him, saying that the captain is the kind that never keels over.
Yeah. He's like, he can't die.
So Hans kind of transitions from that instantly. He's like, Hans is clearly unconcerned about the mortality of the captain.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, he'll be fine.
He'll be fine. And the conversation ends, but if you re-trigger it right there, the music stops and it triggers a conversation with Hans about his current family situation.
Yes.
Hans explains that he married Anna, the pink dolphin, and it wasn't out of pity. He really feels like he needs to explain that he
over-explains this.
Yeah. It's like, guys, I'm not a creeper. I'm not hanging out at funeral homes looking for widows to ask out on dates. Guys, this is real, okay?
So the Thames picked up Anna after the Reaper attack. Is it implied that her husband died in that attack, or he died in the last and final attack? Because he wasn't with them in the doctor's office first, was he?
She said in the doctor's office on the Thames that her husband had died.
Okay.
So he must have died in the original Wells attack on the Thames, like when Krellian was kind of first showing up on the scene.
I think this was before the current... Yeah, it had to be before the current one because Hans references the captain congratulating Hans by telling him he's a cold guy for seducing a widow.
Yeah. Then the captain also said, just make sure the kid doesn't hate you.
Which is clearly what happened.
Yes, Hans has totally failed the captain's challenge.
The captain can predict the future.
Do you have Faye's line here?
I have a summary of it. Do you have the exact line?
Yeah. Faye, at this point in the game, has turned into the all-knowing professor of lore, and he knows everything because he's lived 1,000 lifetimes and he has all that knowledge now.
Yeah.
But he briefly reverts back to
Dumb guy?
The dumb guy Faye that we used to know, and he goes, "Boy, you've changed!" And they both have exclamation points at the end. And I totally read him as like a Goku-like at that point in time.
Hans was the only person on the Tims that took his job seriously, right? Or was that Falco?
I think Falco knew a lot about Babel Tower.
Okay.
That's all I remember from him. But yeah, Hans was definitely the over-serious type that wanted to make sure that everything was running, and he was very, very... He took his job very seriously. He was not necessarily worried about career cultivation. Mm-hmm. He just wanted to do a fine job, and he had a lot of respect for the people he worked with.
Yeah. Possibly the only non-drunk other than the doctor.
Can dolphins drink?
Ooh, that's a good question. I bet they have to... They
clearly have to intake liquids. So
don't they like pierce blowfish and get fucked up on whatever the gas, the toxin that comes out of that is, and they get high?
Oh,
don't dolphins do that, or porpoises or something like that?
That's the first I've heard of that, but...
Okay, I'm probably not making that up.
Okay, good.
Initializing fakenet.
Zoologist Rob Pilley witnessed dolphins getting high off a toxin that they were deliberately obtaining from pufferfish.
Thanks, FakeNet.
You're my favorite host of this podcast, Eric.
All right, so the next scene is absolutely wonderful. Hans says he's always believed that someone is out there protecting him. And then you start hearing footsteps as the captain will one day come down the stairway. And then you see like this ghost version of the captain do that as if Hans is praying that this will happen.
Yeah.
He's having a daytime fantasy about hunting for priceless treasure with the captain.
Yes. Well, this is when Hans is still fantasizing about
daytime fantasy.
Yeah, daytime fantasy, fantasizing about the captain coming down the stairs. He's like, the captain, he'll come down here and he'll say, "Hans, it looks like we'll get our hands on a priceless treasure." What kind of face is that? You don't believe me, huh? This time it's true. Honest. And then Hans gets really, really sad. But then Thames Man of the Sea comes on.
Yeah, dude.
And the captain actually comes down the stairs and says the exact thing that Hans was just fantasizing him coming down the stairs and saying, and it's terrific.
It's kind of modified. He says, "Now listen, men of the sea never say die." And the final shot focuses on the captain through that long doorway.
Yeah.
It's a really well-directed shot.
Yeah, it is. I feel like if Takahashi had his hands on any scene, any optional scene, then this was one. He wanted to get it right.
This is excellent.
He's like, "Come on, guys, I don't have enough. I need more camera framing devices. Let's do it."
So the captain, I think, congratulates himself after this. Like, wow, what an entrance I just made, hey? But then he also says that, Hans, your fantasy is true.
Yes.
There's buried treasure. It's on an island called Duneman Isle.
Yes.
An ancient hero defeated a monster here, and now the legend has it, his fabled sword rests there.
Ah, cool. We could use a sword, I guess.
So this is interesting because it sets up an obvious side quest for Sidon.
Yeah.
And if it's your first time playing this game, you want to look around the rest of Snow Hideout and look for clues for other ultimate weapons that do not exist.
They do not exist. And unfortunately, as well, you don't need any of these ultimate weapons.
I'm going to talk about that later once we get to the world map about open world obligations and how you need to feel compelled to complete RPGs when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
Hans then asks for more details, and the captain is like, fuck it, man, who cares? This is why that kid doesn't like you.
Yeah. He said, by the time that the kid actually decides to like you, I'll have managed to get a new ship. Till then, give it all for your family, lad.
Yeah, which seems like a good-natured, amiable way of handling the kid's utter dislike of the man taking his mother for his new wife.
Yeah. At this point in time, the captain starts to walk back up the stairs. And at this point in time, I was like, well, I don't remember if the captain is going to settle in here or if he's gone forever. Mm-hmm. So I must chase him. I must chase him and talk and speak with him immediately.
Yeah, there's another neat little scene with him.
Yeah, you go up there and talk to him, and he's hanging out with Lance. And he's like, first he's like, don't worry about how I survived.
He refuses to say how he survived.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Which he probably had the bath escape.
Yeah.
A bath escape or something. He says, if you worry about such things, then kids will hate you, just like they hate Hans.
Yes.
And then when
I like how he calls him Hans and not your dad or your stepdad.
Yeah, Lance wishes that the captain was his dad. He's like, please. The captain laughs, and he says, a walrus with a penguin for a son, gar har har har. And then Lance begins to explain that, hey man, I'm a dolphin.
Yeah.
Captain calls Hans a penguin then, and then Lance corrects him, but accidentally calls Hans his dad. Oops.
That's the captain's trick.
Yes.
And it worked, son.
Yes. The captain is beautiful, a beautiful person.
Round 2 of Captain's character development is now finished.
Yes, thank you, Captain. You now have your ultimate weapon, which is the
double beer bottles.
Charm of winning the charm of teenagers.
I can totally. I would hope in that the after episode 6 of Xenogears, it's revealed that the captain repaired the crashed Shevat saucer as a boat.
Yeah.
And just piloted that thing around.
Yeah.
Did you go back and talk to Hans's new family?
Yes. Anna asks us not to think that she's a loose woman.
Yeah. I feel like I haven't heard that in a while.
I haven't either. That had me Googling the term dolphin sex, but then I stopped myself.
Thank you.
Kana, the child, says that some flashy woman taught her a card game on the Thames.
R.I.P. Queenie.
R.I.P. Queenie.
R.I.P. Queenie.
Your services will never be forgotten.
I guess this is an opportunity. Didn't we have some kind of plan to play cards and get Emeralda's lines? Or Chu-Chu's lines that neither one of us ever made good on?
Yeah.
We probably should have done that here.
Yeah.
Initializing fake
I got you. Halcyonium on YouTube posted them recently. The first two are Chu-Chu and the last two are Emeralda.
I'm hungry. Out of my way. Hit you.
We'll make an oversight and correction on the epilogue episode, maybe?
I mean, we could still pitch him. We could still stitch him in somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
I do have one of Bart's lines. Because
Jerk.
I did play cards, and I won with
Wow.
Bart. And Bart says,
Come on already! The day's almost over!
which reminds me of the stupid fucking dialogue things that pop on during Xenogears
Played.
2 whenever the days change. It's a new day.
Oh, it's a new day, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where I saw it, but the speculation that this game used to have much more dialogue, perhaps post-battle victory lines and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and then it all just got cut and rearranged and just stuck it in here. Like, the games did plenty of annoying things like that, like playing the same sound over and over, so I don't think that would have been it. I think maybe it was like a RAM limitation.
Yeah,
to
maybe.
play that much audio and combine it. I don't know.
I don't know. Nothing stopped that dude in Lunar 2 from saying, dodge this, every time he
Check
did a
this out.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Check this out.
Dodge this!
What was his name? Nash.
Yeah, Nash was a...
Nash is Lunar 1, though.
Yeah, can't remember the other guy's name.
Initializing fake net.
That would be Hero.
Anyway, so I beat Kana in cards, and she gave me an Emmer Junior doll,
Oh, wow.
which I guess is an Emeralda,
Yeah,
Junior
yeah.
doll, and it does something for
Can
Emeralda.
you display those anywhere, or is
No.
it just, okay.
I sold it because you can sell it for like $30K.
Oh, shit. Dude, I had a money crisis later where I was selling all my possessions, so
Yeah.
I wish I would have known that.
It might have not been $30K, but it was a lot.
Initializing fake net.
Well, if Chris hadn't sold that doll, it would have made Emeralda's counterattack return equal damage.
Also, did you notice that in one of the other rooms behind the bar, it's the house from Shevat where the rocking horse was preserved?
No. There's more than one room. Was it like off to the side or something
Yeah, I
like that?
think it's down there. It's somewhere. There, it's those exact same assets. There are rocks in front of the stairs, and you can't go upstairs. But it is very clearly
That's what that is?
the exact same room in Shevat that the Queen preserved to remind people about wars and stuff.
No, I missed that completely.
Yeah, it was. There's absolutely nothing in there, but
Yeah, but it's a cool, like, an interesting thing to do is to walk around this and try to remember what it was back when it was whole, because it all is stuff that used to be something else,
Yeah.
right? Other than that gear hanger.
yeah, and whether I think most of the time it literally is the exact same thing that was being reused.
That sounds smart for as
Yeah.
far as how they manage their assets.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to prison.
Hey, let's go to prison. When you go into prison, it's the infamous Shevat prison.
Yeah.
There's a giant fucking hole
Yeah.
where Faye escaped when he turned into id. I don't know, a couple of chapters ago.
Yeah, somewhere in the chair.
Yeah,
In front of Midori and Dan.
There's an old man standing there, and he's like, "Man, fucking monsters blew this up," and went outside, not realizing that Faye is standing right in front of him.
Yes. And he says he was long gone.
Yep.
So then actually I can splice something in here. We go to the carbonite freezing chamber.
Yeah.
And I was listening to our Shevat episode recently, and there was a person there at the time that says this is where the great betrayal was or something like that.
Did you go to the very, very bottom? There's like a cage.
Yeah, what does the lady down there say?
The woman says that day, 500 years ago, that woman was definitely here. There was no other alternative but to be captive. We could have won, at the cost of many sacrifices, only if the traitor hadn't disappeared with the woman. The escaped woman freed the beast. The beast sucked human blood and ate their flesh and tore the world apart. I have absolutely no idea what this is.
Don't follow the path of the traitor, drowning in hatred and love.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, what is that?
Well, my best guess is it relates earlier where Zephyr was talking about not knowing what her actions would end up doing, and perhaps someone had to appear to turn heel to really save them.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's kind of my guess about that.
Yeah.
Like, someone had to be sacrificed.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Like, someone had to make the tough decision to do the bad thing to save everyone.
Yeah, that's dreadful. It's all dreadful.
Mm-hmm. And we speculated that it was Miang at the time.
Yeah.
When it was Lacan who betrayed them to free Miang.
Yes.
So we weren't exactly clear on that at that point, and our speculation was incorrect.
Interesting. Well, there was another great betrayal here because this is where Faye was finally frozen in carbonite
Yes.
when Shevat betrayed Faye.
Yeah.
And this guy's got some apologizing to do.
It's this guy who's been aggressively wanting to carbonite people.
Yeah, he's obsessed. He's been desperately wanting to free somebody because he's seen Star Wars Empire Strikes Back like 7 times.
Yes.
And he really wants to do it. So
it looks pretty cool. Han Solo survived that shit. Yeah, he apologizes, says he shouldn't have used that thing. He goes on to tell us our little brother was mad, Dan, and asks if he had a heart or not, and then he envies the guts it must have taken to ask that.
yeah,
And that's kind of all he has,
it's
right?
Faye's little brother Dan.
Yes, Faye's little brother has to be Dan,
Okay.
right? Who else would talk about guts and like calling him heartless immediately after his own change of heart, after being heartless the entire game?
It's nice that we got this scene before we talked to Dan.
I got it after it because I did this backwards.
Oh, okay. Sorry. One of these days, we'll learn how to coordinate our podcast.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if we get to an RPG that is multiple open parts and not totally linear.
Yes, we'll have to make an outline before every single session. Okay.
Yeah. So did you talk to the guy at the bottom of the stairs?
Yes. All this ties back to something. It's very interesting.
But it's this guy that is at the bottom of the stairs. He wants to tell you about his stupid son.
Yes. I have lady, but whatever.
Whatever.
NPC at the bottom says that they have a stupid son that used to fish for a living, but one day he saw a merman city on the floor, the sea floor, and now he's become a landlubber. And do you know who his son is?
No, I don't. I just had Merman, not Merman City. I must have missed that.
It could be either or, but I think it's Merman
Because
City.
there are mermen down there. Like, that's one of the enemies
I think it's in reference to Zeboyam.
That's what when you said city, I immediately thought of Zeboyam.
And I was not able to complete this side quest because I don't have the mermaid tier. But if you have the mermaid tier from the drunk guy in the Lahan Village bar at the beginning of the game, and you give it to this person, they will give you a special ring for Emeralda here.
Oh, wow.
If you've already done the Emeralda side quest. But I didn't have it. My save didn't have the mermaid tier.
Your stolen save? I wonder if I do, because I did this before I did the Emeralda side quest, and I wonder if I can go back there and get that. What does that item do?
It's a specific ring for Emeralda. I don't know what it does.
Cool.
I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't because I'm irresponsible.
Well, thankfully, we have an AI robot to look that up.
Initializing fake net.
The mermaid ring gives plus 10 ether and ether defense for Emeralda.
Thank you.
Fake Net's working hard.
Sorry, Fake Net. I thought I wrote that down, but I didn't.
I can't write anything down either, but it is because I have no physical body. I am sure you had your reasons, though.
I definitely looked it up.
So we go through the door next to the gear shop, right?
Yeah.
And it goes down into a snowbank cave.
Yes.
So there's a guy in the snow here. He tells us in slow text that we're going to be judged. The last day is nigh. We should be careful. It's all according to prophecy, and that's it. Like, I thought there was going to be a bit here where he turned it around, but no, that's it.
If you talk to the kid next to it, it's the Henry Mingus UFO kid from the orphanage.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's very annoyed by the kid sitting next to him. And I think the bit here is that the Henry Mingus UFO conspiracy theory kid is annoyed by another kid.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the joke.
The other kid has a totally unique sprite. I don't recall this seeing anywhere before. Like, he's a weird, he has red hair, brown vest, goggles, a brown like back thing, and then just wild looking boots.
I wrote him down as Radical Kid.
Yeah.
And just now it makes me think about like one of my favorite lines from Chrono Trigger is when you return to the end of time and you talk to Gaspar and he says, "Where's the healthy kid with the radical haircut?"
Oh man.
And
Chrono.
That kid kind of looks like he has a Chrono haircut.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Chrono Trigger. My immediate thought, and I looked this up and it wasn't true, was that he was the guy that drives that hover bike in Chrono Trigger. Because he looks like he's from that era of the future.
Oh, Johnny?
Johnny, yeah.
Johnny Bot. Yeah, so I think that's the bit there, but I was glad that the orphanage was represented here by that kid.
Future spoilers, did you get that UFO photo from Big Joe later?
I did, I think, yeah.
I was wondering if you had that in your inventory, if this game were smarter, if you could give it to that kid, but he's already in the goddamn UFO.
Yeah, yeah, that's the great irony and the beautiful thing about this kid being here was that he was so obsessed with seeing Shevat fly over the orphanage that now he's finally gets to, not only does he get to see it, but he gets to be inside of it. So,
have you ever had anything that you've been looking forward to, be it video game or a destination when you were a kid, something when you were younger that you had romanticized, and then you get it in your possession, you get your hands on it, and it's just massive disappointment, like crushing disappointment?
Yes.
Chris is summoning a memory.
No, it's not.
Chris is suppressing a memory. I've never seen you make that face before. Are you okay?
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Really? Damn, dude.
No, I like that game. It just, you know.
No, I don't.
Huh?
Let's talk about it for an hour.
No. Maybe one day. I need more distance. Yeah. I like the act of playing the game. I didn't like the act of finishing the game.
Yeah, well, my answer is Bases Loaded 4 for Nintendo.
Oh, yeah. Is that the one that made you write a letter to Jellicoe?
Uh-huh. That my mom just probably threw away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this quarter on the Greenlit Podcast Network, Chris Sims and Matt Wilson. And in this quarter, VHS oddities, confusing animation, and modern not-so-classics.
Plus snacks, movie fighters.
We watch movies and beat them up.
Hey you! Yeah, you! Do you like podcasts? Are you into anime? Does analysis happen to tickle your pickle?
Then look no further. Here at the Spirit Hunters podcast, we happen to love all three.
Every week, we'll be watching, recapping, and analyzing episodes of Yoshihiro Togashi's famous manga and anime, Hunter x Hunter.
Check us out at the Spirit Hunters on the Greenlit Podcast Network.
So, proceeding on from there, on the south end of this place, there's a little boy and a child Chu-Chu?
Yes, it's the same Chu-Chu sprite that we saw flopping around the Shevat originally.
Is that the one that sold us stuff?
It could have been.
I think that one was orange.
The legendary vendor.
Yeah.
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 At this point in time, I'm watching the kid and the Chu-Chu slide up and down.
That's good. It's hypnotic.
And my son walked down here and saw me playing Xenogears, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm playing Xenogears." He goes, "What's that?" And I said, "That's the thing that me and Eric talk about." And he goes,
"You just want to set up a Patreon?"
He goes, I said, "Yes, go to patreon.com." And then he pointed to the screen and goes, "What's that?" I goes, "That's a Chu-Chu." And he goes, "Is Chu-Chu one of your characters?" And I said, "Yes, but not that one." And he goes, "Well, tell me about your Chu-Chu." And I said, "We can't have this conversation right now."
Show him the picture that said fuckface.
Oh, man. But I was glad that he walked down and saw this part instead of seeing, like, you know, the nudity from the ending or something.
Yeah, that's good. Dick out.
Yeah.
So the boy here says this is his first time seeing snow, and the Chu-Chu is kind of rationalize it like, yeah, this is the only thing that we can keep our composure. It's just a fun thing to slide over and over again. The world's ending.
Please don't judge
me. What do you
me.
want me to do? Yeah.
I used to be a legendary vendor, but now I'm just trying to...
I'm 536. This doesn't really entertain me, but come on.
Yeah, sure.
There's a lady at the very end who heard a rumor that they're battling in the barbaric Kislev Bartelling thing.
Yeah. Was that a... like somebody misspeaking in the game or somebody just
I don't
typo?
know. I mean, you know how language travels. You've played a game of telephone, right? Where stuff just corrupts.
Yeah.
But then she has a wonderful thing that you tweeted where she wonders what's become of all the menfolk these days.
Yeah, that's true. There's also another lady that's very upset that Bart finally took the throne and now the world's over.
Yeah. Made it a republic, engaged the dreams, and that's it.
Yeah.
So the door behind them... Who'd we go see back there? What special children get their own private room in that crass Shevat? Their fully furnished, non-damaged room.
Yeah, there are two special children back here. One is special for a different reason than the other. The first one is Dan, and Dan tells Faye that he saw his id transformation and he apologizes, but notes that this won't make things the way that they used to be, but I am sorry for everything that happened between us.
Yeah, I like the idea that Dan and Midori are hanging out because they're the only kind of remnants of Lahan Village, and they already kind of knew each other.
Yeah. Faye also apologizes to Dan and says that he's glad that he can make peace with him. And as somebody who, you know, this podcast historically has not liked Dan, but I was still happy to see this moment.
Yeah, they wrapped it up. Did you have Faye's final dialogue to Dan?
No.
Take care, kiddo.
Oh, nice.
If you speak to Dan again, Dan won't talk to you. Midori will keep repeating her dialogue over and over again. Dan will not talk to you.
So Dan has reached the resolution and he has nothing to add. Gotcha.
Midori actually speaks. She says she was scared a little, but not too scared because she knew Faye was doing all he could to fight the monster.
Yeah.
Guess what I got to do next?
You got to give her the ring.
Yes. Did you get to do that on your new save?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Faye gives her back the ring that he found at the beginning of the game. In the
garden.
In the garden. And I guess you could technically go back and get this now.
I think so, since his house is still like a travelable point on the world map, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. The guide that I was referencing didn't reference that as a place you could still go.
More on that later.
Yeah.
Midori ensures Faye that his voice will reach Ellie, too.
Yes.
As she's wishing him luck. This is sort of... Remember when Midori was the one who sort of could tell that Maria's father was inside the oxen, really, because of her sort of this implied telepathic ability.
Yeah.
During that moment, and I think she was sort of doing the same thing when she knew that Faye was inside of id.
Faye's, it could be the same kind of connection. Faye's dialogue here is either revelatory or hilarious, because he tells her after he gives her the ring back to listen to her mother Yui and look after Dan. Yui's never seen on disc 2.
Oh, that's true.
And it could either be a reference that Yui is alive and well, just not on screen, or that she's dead and Faye has no idea and just reminded her of it. Which is hilarious. Like, good job, buddy.
That's true.
Did you have the item that she gives you? Like, Midori decides it is an exchange for her ring and gives you a Hercules ring.
Yes, this lets you level up faster.
50% bonus to leveling up. Experience, not death blows.
Yes, the death blow one is the wizardry ring, which I think we already have at this point in time. Hey, Eric, where's Jesse?
He's trapped in the bunt line.
Oh, okay. So now it's not that it expends your entire life. Now you're just stuck in there.
Yeah, they're still like tubing him in rations.
Oh, gotcha.
Zetasols, but he's stuck in there.
Does the bunt line? Does Billy carry the bunt line, or does the bunt line just come out of the rafters?
He summons it out of the rafters.
Okay,
yeah,
just making sure.
It's implied.
Okay, thanks for that. That was bothering me.
So then off to the side, there's a guy on the left on like before you exit the building. A guy left on the platform. He wonders what the queen sees and says she has a kind of look of sorrow, like she has lost something, and that inside that there's a kindness that would forgive all.
Interesting.
Like he's either near that path before you walk up to see Zephyr, or he's around that general area.
Oh, I must have missed that. Huh.
Anyway, you go outside, and then you're outside in the snow, and I think it's that platform where Seitan and Yui had their little talk.
Yeah, I think Maria had a moment up there too.
Yes,
I think it was optional, but Maria had a moment up there as well. But this time it's all snow covered and it's windy and everything.
Yeah.
Zephyr, once you speak with her, she's still very wistful and sorrowful, like kind of like the way people of Shevat are in general.
And when you speak with her, the camera rotates to project a very specific point of view over that entire area.
Yeah.
Like it's framing it very specifically, so she's looking off in the distance, wistful.
Yes. She says, our sorrow, our defilement, our mistakes. If only we could wipe away these things as easily as that. What have I, been pursuing for these past 500 years?
And that she's talking about is the snow that keeps falling and covering up all the mistakes of the world.
Yeah. Like, she realizes about how much Shevat and, pretty much humanity in general has fucked up. But on the contrary, Zephyr, like, Deus and the representatives of Deus have fucked up many times too. That just always ends with they
still win.
Yeah, they still win. They wipe out humanity. They just don't necessarily ever get what they want.
Right.
Which is why we're in the situation we're in now, because they're like, fuck it, let's just destroy everything.
So she kind of snaps out of that 1,000-yard stare and says, the person we rescued from Merkava has recovered consciousness.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, is she talking about Faye? Faye's right here. Like, we got him back.
Yeah, I was like,
obviously he's here, man.
Wait, do we have Ellie? No, there's no way we could have Ellie. But she's talking about Ramsus.
Yes, Seitan says that he at first lost faith in himself, but now he was better.
Did you have Seitan with you at this time?
Yes.
I did as well. I'm assuming that he just comes up the stairs.
Oh, to just tell the story.
The questions. Yeah, because he's the one that would have to tell the story here. And he says Carr has revived himself and found some real meaning in his life. And this is the money line that sucks.
Yeah.
He says, if he decides to fight on our side, the total fighting power shall be greatly increased.
That is such a bad tease.
Yeah, it's like
you can go recruit Ramsus somewhere in this fallen world.
Yeah, and I'm sure they had some hopes of doing so.
Like, he seems like a unique character with all those counter stances and stuff like that. Like, he would have slotted in nicely in a game that already had too many characters, to be honest.
Yeah, but Emeralda kind of acts as the Ellie replacement, and you don't really need a replacement for anything. Like, you don't need another character, but it would be nice. I mean, there is a point later in the game in which you need to utilize several characters.
Yeah, or not if you're me.
Oh, okay. And go from there. I probably almost made the same mistake as you, but I lucked out. So then we have a flashback.
Yes.
To the Yggdrasil doctor room.
So yeah, it's a sick room. The treasure which cannot be stolen plays.
Yes. Seitan is pleading with Ramsus, and Sigurd is present as well. Ramsus is, of course, as he does, believing he is trash, and Seitan does the worst thing you can do to a depressed person and slaps the shit out of him and tells him to stop feeling sorry for himself and pull himself together.
He fucking nails him.
Yes.
But like, he's trying to convince Ramsus, you got to stop forgetting about this whole friend or foe thing. There's no more sides, man.
Yeah.
It's humanity now.
Yeah. We're in this together. Social distancing.
After Seitan slaps him, Sigurd steps in and he's like, hey, dude, what are you doing, Hugh? Don't ease up.
Yeah.
He's a depressed person.
Yeah. Then this scene rotates in a cool way.
He says, you can take pity on yourself, but what about them? And then it reveals behind the curtain.
Yes, it's all of the elements.
All 4 elements.
He says, are these women stupid or trash or rejects too for believing in you? The reasons why you helped the girls, who had no one to turn to, may not have been that noble, but in spite of that, they stuck with you. And before I go on here, it's interesting that he says that the reasons that you, or the reasons that you sort of took them under your wing weren't noble, which makes me think about patreon.com/retroam, the comic about sort of convinced Dominia to become a replacement Sigurd, which is kind of funny.
The game says he rescued them from a bad life. The comic kind of suggests that he was grooming them to be, like unhealthy relationship, possibly sexual with Sigurd.
Yeah, exactly. Second goes on and says, do you know why? They know you better than anyone else. They know the true kindness that exists inside your heart. They know because they want to be loved. That is why they won't leave you. Car.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true. Car, do not make them into the trash or rejects that you speak of. Which I think that last line, he could have gotten the point across just by saying that. By saying, don't, you might think that you're trash, but don't turn these people into trash as well because they think highly of you.
Ramsus has like a corny line next.
I wrote it down as a dumb man from a romantic comedy thing.
Yeah.
Where he realizes that everything that he was always looking for was right in front of him, which is the plot line to every romantic comedy.
I just didn't realize it sooner.
Yeah, anything that was made in like the mid-aughts, like basically, and probably has the guy from Punk'd and, Jessica Biel in it or something. I don't know. And fucking shit. But sorry, I just had a brief moment in which I remembered that, like...
Do you mean Dax or do you mean Ashton Kutcher?
I mean Ashton Kutcher. I mean Justin Timberlake. I mean all those young, thin white people that were in all those movies.
Leave me alone, I'm baiting.
Yeah. But I just had a brief flashback to watching several of those movies.
So Dominia eats this shit up.
Yeah.
She says, "Oh, Commander."
Yeah.
And then that's it, right? None of the other elements talk. It's just, this is Ramsus. This is the end of Ramsus.
Yeah.
Right? He's not like in the Yggdrasil sick room.
Yeah, there should have been some meta commentary that popped up on the screen that says, hey, sorry, we're not going to put him in your party.
Yeah, he's going to do the like after Thanos thing and just find a cottage and wait for the end of the world by himself.
That's right.
The end of Melancholia.
When we get back to the present, Faye talks about how he wants to face Ramsus one-on-one as a martial artist when this is all over.
And it's like, buddy, that wasn't the point of that story.
No.
Like, Faye wants to, like, put down the gears and go mano a mano because Faye expresses himself best when he's beating ass.
He does. And even the all-knowing Faye of 1,000 Lifetimes still wants to express himself in that way, even though he has the sort of the scientific chops of Kim and the thoughtfulness of Lacan and all the other Fays that existed in between. He still wants...
Dominated by testosterone.
...to beat ass.
Do you picture Zephyr here as placating him? But she's like, yeah, Faye, he probably wants that too. Christ.
Yeah. She then gives Faye...
She gets him off this path.
Zephyr then gives Faye an out and says that he can quit now. You don't have to go through with all this stuff. You don't have to stop the end of the world.
This
you
isn't
can quit
an out.
now.
This is a motivational speech.
You're right. Because this is not the time to give Faye any constitution to turn back now, because he's the only one that can stop this.
Yeah, but before she tells him to quit, she's like, Faye, now what will you do if Ellie doesn't return back to normal?
Oh, yeah, true.
And Faye is convinced that Ellie will be back to her usual self.
Yeah.
But he's also prepared for the alternative. He doesn't say what he will do. He just answers that he is prepared, which might be some psycho shit.
Could be that he is psyching himself out by only believing in a positive outcome, because even though defeating Deus and destroying the Zohar modifier may not necessarily bring Ellie back, it will save the world. At least that's what they think at this point in time. So he's trying to keep his spirits up, I think. We can now read Faye as somebody who is thinking not only with his emotions, but thinking via or using his experiences to draw conclusions, because he has thousands of years worth of experiences to draw from. So I think he's just psyching himself out here.
He rejects Zephyr's other proposition. He's like, fuck that. The world I have fought for and lived for would come to have no meaning at all. And he resolves to fight to win true freedom.
Indeed.
He fights to live. That is the reason why I fight. It's proof I'm human.
Ah, yes.
Sure.
I mean, there is a lot of wishy-washiness about being a human later in this game.
Yeah.
And he's kind of ceding that here a little bit.
He cites the promise to his father, to himself, and that he would free Ellie from Deus's binds. And then Zephyr kind of cuts him off and is like, all right, we'll just keep believing.
Yeah. Keep going, buddy.
If you talk to Zephyr again, it goes through most of this shit again.
Yes. The same thing happened to me as well. It does everything except for the Ramsus flashback.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I remember going up there to keep chatting with Zephyr over and over. Like, I would just go reload my save, like, 3 months later and just go run around Shevat over and over again.
Yeah.
It's an interesting part of the game.
I never did that because I'm stupid. So, anything else for the...
No, we are done with that branch now. What's left?
I have nothing.
I've got room behind gear shop.
Okay.
Did you do this, Chris?
Maybe. You go on with it.
So to the left of the gear shop, you can actually go back there. It's a long cave that leads to a hole. We can fall down that hole and enter the old Shevat gear hangar. Oh, Chris. Chris has surprised emoji face right now.
Yeah, I missed that.
Well, let me tell you what's back here, Chris. Remember how Sidon, you could go get his human sword, his best sword in Dune Man Isle?
Oh!
Well, back here, there's a guy, it's a big, huge open gear hangar, and there's a guy, you're on the rafters, there's a guy at the very end of this pole. He's a celebrated gear weapons specialist. Quote, he says, "There are no men with enough guts to ask me to force them a weapon to fight Deus." Then he asks us to bring him a nifty sword for, quote, "something truly amazing."
Are you fucking serious?
I'm serious. He says that asking about this weapon while it's still equipped is rude and asks us to take it off first because he can read that we've got it, but he can't do this with. He notices that I have the Kishin, which we got off the G Elements. It's their sword.
Yeah.
And so you give it to him. There's some drilling noises. And he says that it was like turning plowshares into a sword and wants us to use this to make Deus pay. The Kijin sword it is now, not Kishin, but Kijin with a J, does 200 plus attack damage, which I think is 40 or 50 more than it did before.
I could have used this.
Yeah, it would have been good, right?
Yep.
And then it made me wonder if this guy was supposed to refine at some point all of your ultimate weapons.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is all he does, as far as I know.
But the one thing that holds true here is that, like, most of the characters that we have are hand-to-hand combat characters.
Yeah, so they don't have, well, Bart.
So there have been Bart and that's it,
Billy.
Right? Bart and Billy, yeah, true. Okay, cool. I
missed that one.
I don't know how I missed it. I have no idea.
It's not necessarily clear that you can walk behind that gear shop.
Yeah, I just didn't notice that at all.
But I don't think we ever actually went to the gear hangar in Shevat in person before, did we? It was always referenced. I don't know that we actually went there.
There were a couple of guys that were like closing up shop that would still sell you things in Shevat, but that was about it.
It's a big, giant area, and I'm like, why aren't the people in here? Like, what?
Yeah, I know. Right? Yeah.
There's a lot of space, man. What are we doing?
You have to put the fucking cow in our bedroom and like put the livestock in here, guys. It's not like you're raising an army here or anything. You've got us.
I think that might be it. Oh, no, we've got one more room, Chris. When we ride the elevator up to the Chu-Chu room.
What?
What do you mean, what? Remember when you paid that guy all the money to let his birds fly off?
Yeah.
They were on an elevator. The mover, the thing that transported you around Shevat, that was the thing, is you pay him the money to go access the old Chu-Chu room where they were all hanging out.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Do you host a Xenogears podcast? What are you doing?
I feel bad about this right now.
Fucking turn this off. Go play that shit.
Okay, now Eric will just tell you about this while I sit here and react and say, yeah, oh, cool.
So, when you go up there, it is immediately cool that it's the Chu-Chu immediately cool. When you go up there, it is immediately clear that it's the Chu-Chu room.
I think it's immediately cool as well.
It's very cool. And then nothing's on. It's dark. It's very abandoned. Nobody's here. But if you walk up to those display cases with all the Chu-Chu's fine jewelry, Faye will go, "You won't mind if we just borrow it."
No.
And Faye repeats just borrowing it each time you pillage one of these cases, and then Faye begs not to be hexed or haunted.
Okay.
Inside these cases is a hero costume, which is an excellent defensive thing that unfortunately lowers when your ally gets KO'd. A Hercules ring, which is more experience plus 50%. A vivid turban. Speed shoes.
Oh.
Which are excellent. They're auto haste and auto booster. And then a Yamato belt, which is max HP up 25%. There's also a wizardry ring, which increases your death blow learning rate.
Wow.
The final case is a big collection of little kids' toys. Faye refuses to take those because he says, "We don't know what's going to happen to the world. Some kid in the future may need them."
True. Good point, Faye. Kana might need that.
Yeah.
Even though she's got an Emeralda Jr. doll and an Ellie Jr. doll.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's some Chu-Chu artifacts or fossilized petrified turds or something like that.
Squeaky toy.
Mm-hmm. And I think that may be it. Yeah, my next thing is the world map. I do want to mention, I will talk about it next time.
Okay, world map. Hearing that song again, the world map music, it sounds nice.
I should play that.
You should. Somebody should. Oh, hey, should we check in with the RealNet?
Yeah, do that.
Initializing RealNet.
Carfo says, I was always confused about the Snowfield hideout. I missed the last episode, so I'm not sure you said this already, but the FMV never shows Shevat blowing up. So that confirms our misunderstanding of that as well. David Trombone-san says, in the worlds of one of my friends, Groff calls his penis the power. Maybe that one could go in the outtakes. So.
Well, no, yeah, that will definitely, like, not that Xenogears is popular enough for a porn parody, but that is definitely what would happen.
Yeah.
Men and women around the world seeking the power.
Indeed. Carfo says, I love how the captain survived, though. That would have sucked, especially being so close in time to losing Aerith, LOL.
Like, of all the NPCs they abandoned, like all the Proud Boys, Yui, bringing the captain back for a scene that serves almost no purpose but to warm your heart is excellent.
Yeah. I mean, he all he does is tell you there's a side quest. He doesn't necessarily tell you where to go.
Yeah. And that gets hard. We'll talk about that next time.
David Trombone-san says, isn't there some terraforming going on with Deus on at this point? It would make sense for it to be a bit cold. And yeah, that's true.
They do mention that, don't they?
Yeah, the terraforming began just before this chapter.
Which was Deus' original purpose.
Yeah, Carfo says, I think the game mentions that briefly Deus was terraforming the planet to literally turn it into a giant weapon. Here's Faye's quote from the game on this. At that time, the earth quaked and shook. And from the location where Merkava crashed, a giant object appeared. It was Deus' final form. The Merkava was merely its vessel. Deus evolved through the use of Krillion's nanomachines into a planetary-scale weapon and began terraforming.
So it's that thing from Force Awakens?
Sure. Oh, yeah, that thing. Okay. By the way, I can finally watch that last Star Wars movie in like 4 days.
Congratulations, Chris.
Thanks. David Trombone says, would have been bonkers, thanks Discord, world's gonna end, bring it on, motherfuckers. Discord is dying.
There was some real Max Headroom delivery there, man.
That's what it says.
Sorry, just reading.
A bit of a conversation going on here between Rodin and Cliff Racer about how Deus, the best parts for Deus were people with high affinity for ether.
Mm-hmm.
And Cliff Racer makes a good comment that humans were made in his image in this case of Deus, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool read. Carfo says Johnny is in Chrono Cross, technically just saying.
Gerbic? Gerbic looks a lot like Johnny.
You're right. I like that character. Who's one I always used?
I hated Gerbic. I never used him. He was like built to be cool.
He's the cyborg character guy?
Yeah.
I always liked him.
Initializing fake net.
No. In Chrono Cross, Johnny's broken body can be seen along the roadside in the Dead Sea near the Highwayman.
Quickstacular says, freaking Dan, just go away.
Generally, yeah, that should be the dialogue everyone just delivers to him. In my Xenogears hack, that'll never exist. That's the only thing you can ever say to Dan. Just go away, dude. Get the hell out of here.
Rodin says, do you think that there was a Faye and Ellie in Lost Jerusalem? The captain of the Eldritch has a picture of Ellie after all. We haven't gone back and referenced that in a while. Like, do you think that the image of Ellie came from the captain?
That's a good pull, I think. I think that's definitely possible.
I've heard an alternative read on that where it has nothing to do with anything, and somebody just animated it in there because it was important.
Oh, yeah.
It was an important image, so...
You need to have a picture to hold on to at the very end.
Yeah, Cliff Racer says, as I recall, Takahashi didn't like that the artist made the captain's daughter look like Ellie when she was just supposed to be his daughter. So yeah, I've read that elsewhere.
So someone did fanfic of the official story in the story?
Yeah, when they outsourced the anime, I guess. At least we get the fake net.
I have a digital collection of bones from the human ear.
Oh, wow. Okay, there's an image of the cat. This is via Cliff Racer, and this is interesting. The captain's wife and the captain's daughter, there's sketches of them in the gallery.
Captain of the Eldridge, not the Tims.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. These are not walrus people, excuse me. The captain of the Eldritch, his wife and daughter, there's sketches of them in the Perfect Works, and they don't look like they do in the anime.
Okay, cool.
Like, the daughter is young and has long hair, but...
We're not quite there in our Perfect Works exploration yet.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. Thanks, RealNet. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for the outtakes. This episode is a production of Retrograde Amnesia. Thank you, Eric, for all of your hard work editing the podcast. Thank you, Mark, for the intro track. If you like the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/retroam. Get early access, bonus episodes, miniseries, and more. Find us on Twitter at RetroAmnesiaPod. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Please give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps people discover the show. If you have questions or feedback, email the show at retrogradeamnesiapodcast@gmail.com. Shout out to the RealNet for joining us tonight. And until next time.
Yes, we will kill God.
Soon. And now you may go back to sleep. I'm still going to record it a little low, but I'll boost it before I export it this time.
Nobody lower than Nate Dogg.
I'm trying to get the perfect balance because I'm trying to get the
The perfect work.
The perfect work. I'm trying to get it to where our voices aren't bound. These things helped a little bit. I think they helped me because I talked in that direction.
Into it.
But I think I probably just
build another wall so we can have a pure studio.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the only solution.
Right.
I think.
I want to pad the ceilings.
Yep.
Maybe we should just put that bed right here to absorb the sound.
Like put it on the back of it.
Just put the mattress up,
or the treadmill, like on the opposite side.
Oh yeah, just put a mattress on the treadmill. Okay, we can do that. Do you play the music, or does the fake net play the music, or does
the fake net handles all editing?
Okay,
in my opinion. You think I would insert the fake net to repeat our own words? I don't think so. It just does that.
Good point.
Good point.
Whoa,
Thor's dick. It's called Thor's thunder. That's
really?
What he calls it.
Are you serious?
Not the Chris Hemsworth version.
But just the Marvel version?
Yes. No, I just made that up.
God
Eric.
of War version?
I made that up, Eric.
Okay.
Yeah, it is too. And maybe there was an unseen round 3, or maybe this is out.
Nice 1,000-yard stare, Chris. What are you doing?
It would have been like if. Never mind. We don't have a good analogy because we don't have a good American election analogy because of the choices that we're going to have. I was going to say, like, if Bernie Sanders got elected, then we all
had
died.
a heart attack before, yeah.
And then we all died.
Yeah, or then we all died, of course.
Yeah.
Had another heart attack.
That kind of thing happened, but...
That's all right. Something worse will happen.
Yeah, my analogy did not work. My analogy didn't work at all. Just because
worse.
I started thinking about Joe Biden, and then I started stuttering, and I already have a stuttering problem, so... From here, are you ready to go to the next place?
Yes. Or do you want to walk out?
Can we do a bit real quick?
Yeah.
I want to do a bit where...
Let's do a bit.
We do save point noise. I say... Eric, where's Jesse? You say, I don't know. Save point noise.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Eric, where's Jesse?
I don't know.
Okay, good. All right.
I actually have an answer to that.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll put another one. You want to do another one?
Okay. Another bit?
Yeah. I went back to a lot of old RPGs. Like, I kept all my saves and would just go tour old places, mainly listen to the music. There was no good way to listen to music at that point.
I remember doing that with the Sephiroth battle at the end of the original Final Fantasy VII, and because I liked how cinematic that was. Like, I feel like most of my memories of that game come from like going down the crater.
Yeah,
I never did that with Xenogears. Probably just because the final dungeon is so annoying.
Yeah,
but that too.
Come on already!
The day's almost over. Were we talking about massage guns last week?
That sounds familiar, yeah.
I bought one.
That exists?
Yeah. I'll show you later.
That sounds kind of suggestive, Chris.
I bought one for Brooke for Mother's Day. And I was like, you know what? You need this now because you're sitting down hunched in front of a computer now since you're used to standing up and working. And now she's sitting down and working. So,
is it a handgun? What are we talking about?
Yeah. It's like a handgun and it's got different attachments and it vibrates and can really, rub it out.
Yeah, I'm sure you can rub it out.
Oh, man.
The Masturbation Network, keeping America baiting for 300 years. And now, Sweet Bang Tube.
Oh, yeah, give me some. Cut me a piece. Oh, that's... Go away, baiting! Damn it.